Well, I'm the sound designer for Phantom of the Opera, which basically means I'm responsible for the sound cues, the sound effects, the microphones for the cast, the microphones for the orchestra, how things sound, the intercom that we use backstage to communicate with all the stagehands. Anything that makes noise is pretty much my domain. We show up a few hours early. We're usually the first to get here, the last to leave when it comes to a performance. We get here, we have to turn everything on and check everything. We have to do mic checks with the cast, help them get into their microphones, and make sure everything's set up appropriately, troubleshoot any problems that we have. One thing that's really interesting about being a sound designer or a sound engineer is when you are doing your art, it's completely dependent on somebody else's performance that you're enhancing. So what I do is only art to so much degree. It's so dependent on the talent that I'm working with. And at BYU, I feel like I've had a lot of opportunities to work with some really great talent and to really have the opportunity to have some great voices, some great dancers, all sorts of different people in the different performing groups that I've worked with to highlight what they do. I've been doing this since I was 12, actually. The first time I saw a sound system, I was in a little singing group when I was a kid, and we got to the mall to do our first little show, and they pulled out these 2 speakers, and I thought, those are kind of cool. And it's just kind of grown from there. To the point where now I play with a lot bigger toys. Phantom, of all the shows out there, is one of the most technically challenging shows, and not just in my department. We've had special effects people, projection people, scenic people, lighting people, putting their best effort and their biggest work they've ever done into this show. It's a type of show where it's all about the spectacle and the technical design elements, and so being able to put so much into that has really been rewarding. I think one of the most satisfying things of any sound project you work on is when you get to the point where it's in performance or it's in production. And all of that work that you put in, all of the failed attempts and all of the redos and all of the re-edits come together, and you actually see the finished product and it sounds good and it looks good, and everybody else's work on the production team combines with yours to make this really great show. My name's Doug, and I'm the sound designer for BYU's production of Phantom of the Opera.